Is Amazon setting up shop in Orland Park? A vote for a development, the concern from residents. And we are in the grips of bitter cold. We're also tracking snow in the forecast and when it will arrive.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 9.
Thanks so much for joining us on this holiday Monday. I'm Scott Schneider. Dawn has the night off. Let's start with the weather because, boy, is it cold out there. Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls has your first check of the forecast.
Yeah, bitterly cold out there. If you think back to previously today, we were actually dealing with wind chill temperatures as cold as about 20 to 25 degrees below zero, which is why we had that cold weather advisory in effect until noon. But even since then, temperatures have really struggled. We only made it into the single digits today. That's where a lot of us still are, even at this hour. It's only 1 degree currently in Woodstock, 2 in Waukegan. We're at 4 at the Chicago Lakefront, 7 in Gary, 8 in Joliet. It's 5 degrees currently in Aurora, and same thing in Chicago Heights. But we're still dealing with westerly winds that are right around 5 to 15 miles per hour. And that's making a huge difference when it comes to our feels-like temperatures. So as it stands right now, a lot of us have wind chill temperatures that are between 5 and 15 degrees below zero. That's the range that we're going to stay in tonight. Actual air temperatures are going to be dropping another couple of degrees, but that's really about it. And then looking forward to the next couple of days, slight warming trend going to be here tomorrow. Same thing into your Wednesday before temperatures drop off in a really big way going into this upcoming weekend. Scott, we could be dealing with wind chill temperatures for the entire weekend coming up that never rise above zero.
All right, Emily, thanks for that. Well, we want to share with you some tips for staying warm, courtesy of our friends at Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communication. They posted these to social media. Some include taking additional precautions when you're on the road, avoiding going outside, wearing a number of different layers, and more. With this weather, some homes and businesses tonight are dealing with no heat. Imagine that. Fox Chicago's Brett Bagansky shows you the common causes and why some HVAC companies are stressing that people remain patient.
At a time when there's snow on the ground and temperatures are well below freezing,
this flame sensor is heavily damaged here.
your furnace goes out.
The last 24 hours has been very, very busy.
Ray Reyes with Under the Sun Heating and Cooling told me his business got dozens of calls Monday.
The common factor is that the furnace is being ran a little bit too much just because they're trying to keep the demand of the heat versus the cold.
How common is it for everyone's heat to go out at this time when it's below zero?
It's very common. What I've noticed as well is that clients are running their furnaces up to 75, 76 on their thermostat.
Reyes says it comes down to overuse. And when that happens, he says the furnace shuts down as a safety precaution. That way, there's no damage, like cracking. In order to get it running again, Reyes says they will clean it and replace the flame sensor so the furnace is no longer blowing cold air.
We can't service everybody at the same time, right? We're all very limited, right? So it's, I would hate to say this, but it's a first come, first served basis.
Reyes told me it could be extremely tough responding to all these calls for service, especially when the temperature is reading, as my thermometer says right here, about 5 degrees. He said you have to be patient, but just a good rule of thumb, always keep your furnace right at around 72 degrees. That way you don't have any overuse there. In Bucktown, Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
Crime is on the way down in the suburb of Elgin. The Elgin Police Department releasing their annual numbers from last year. It shows an 8% drop in what they describe as Group A serious crimes. That includes assault, theft, and criminal damage. There was 1 murder last year as well, down from 7 the year before. And there was a 63% drop in shots fired calls from the previous year. The chief of police credits her officers for making it happen. Tonight, leaders in Orland Park have decided to move forward with bringing one of the world's largest retailers, Amazon, to the southwest suburbs, a 225,000 square foot grocery store. Our Leslie Moreno joining us live outside Village Hall with what some of the concerns are and what comes next. Leslie.
Hey, Scott, good evening. Yeah, Amazon says this will be a multi-million-dollar grocery store. Of course, traffic was a big concern tonight. Amazon reps were here to address those concerns. The 35-acre project would bring a traditional shopping experience with groceries and general merchandise. This would not be a distribution center. It'll be built along 159th and LaGrange Road. Tonight, the Orland Park Village Board approved to move that project forward. Village officials say it'll bring 500 jobs, more than 200 construction jobs, and increased sales tax revenue. Traffic, of course, was a major concern tonight, as well as transparency in terms of what residents were informed about this project, and concerns about how fast the project is moving were also brought up. Tonight, Amazon reps were here to address those concerns, saying several traffic studies have been conducted, and the plan comes with a number of changes and updates, including widening Ravenna Road and adding additional traffic lights to avoid congestion.
Already one of the busiest intersections in the village. Traffic congestion is bad today, and everybody knows it'll only get worse. The village has effectively admitted this by focusing on traffic mitigation rather than reduction, an acknowledgement that congestion is unavoidable. This project is being rushed forward with only about 2 weeks' notice to residents regarding its true scope. I remind the board that Dugan Park,
the proposed configuration here would create a refuge area for right-turn vehicles entering the site to move out of free-flow traffic on LaGrange Road and complete their inbound turn. Similarly, the acceleration lane would allow for vehicles exiting the site to merge onto LaGrange Road without disrupting the through traffic on the corridor.
As far as what comes next, the next step is formal approval. Construction could begin as early as this spring, with a grand opening as early as 2027. In Orland Park, Les Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
We are, of course, coming to the end of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, honoring the civil rights icon. Many people hosting events today to honor his legacy. In Aurora, they're hosting their 41st annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day ceremony. The featured speaker, Chicago Teachers Union President Stacey Davis Gates.
Today is about honoring a man's commitment to the expansion of democracy, which I think is especially important today as you see our country turning its back on that idea of democracy.
The evening also included educational workshops about Dr. King's legacy, youth performances, and more.
The actions are absolutely abhorrent. It's coming from the federal government. It's the antithesis to what we fought for.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson taking shots at the federal government and President Trump in particular at the MLK breakfast today. Rainbow Push hosting the event. The mayor says during these tense political times, it's important to remember the teachings of Dr. King.
That's why remembering Dr. King and celebrating his legacy is not just for a meal or a moment. It's about making sure that we hold on to hope, build the power that's necessary to fight for what is right.
Other speakers include news anchor Don Lemon, among others. It's opening night for an exhibit honoring Dr. King, put together at Imanifest Art Studio Gallery. That's near the corner of South California Avenue and West 63rd. This is the Chicagoland neighborhood. Organizers say the exhibit contains themes of faith, liberation, and collective action. It'll be on display for the remainder of the year. Local chefs coming together to help the Latino community financially crippled as a result of ICE and immigration operations. Todos Ponen features a night of great food to raise money, with the proceeds going towards grocery support for local families. More than 40 chefs came together to put it on at the Ramova Theater.
How do I feel? I feel absolutely fantastic. This is the best day I've ever experienced in my life. And I've been a man for 22 years, and I've been an infant for at least 2 of those years.
Thank you for the clarification. Local Indiana and Miami fans watching the college football championship happening right now. Indiana fans filling Kirkwood, the local Hoosier bar in Lincoln Park. Indiana, of course, the #1 seed, Miami, the 10 seed. The game is at the Hurricanes' home, the Hard Rock Stadium. This is Indiana's first ever opportunity to play for a national championship. Here's an update on the game. As we speak, Indiana leads 10-7 against the U, but there's a lot of time left. This one is in the third quarter. More unrest in Minnesota. A group of protesters under investigation by the feds after they disrupted a church service in Minnesota. We've got to look at the controversy involving the pastor there.
I'm Tom Thayer, and I drive.
Trump officials have launched an investigation into a group of protesters who disrupted a church service in Minnesota. They were reportedly targeting an ICE agent who's also the pastor there. Gernal Scott has more.
Department of Justice officials are in Minnesota investigating after protesters disrupted a church service in St. Paul Sunday. The group of at least 30 people was reportedly targeting a local ICE official who they say is also a pastor there.
And what you saw there was anti-Christian, anti-law enforcement rioters storming a church in this country, and that's a violation of law.
They blew whistles and yelled, "ICE out," and justice for Renee Good. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said DHS and the FBI are also looking into the incident.
The FACE Act was passed to stop this exact type of conduct. You are not allowed to stop people from worshiping, and you're not allowed to intimidate or impede them. And so the individuals that went in there and did that, and you could tell that they had a plan, you could tell that they had an agenda, and you cannot do that in this country.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz released a statement saying he urges peaceful protesting and in no way supports interrupting a place of worship. Leadership of several churches called the incident harassment.
I think everybody's got a First Amendment right to protest, but I don't think those protests should include or involve disrupting religious services. That seems inappropriate.
Anti-ICE protests continue to expand. Several labor unions across Minneapolis are now supporting an economic strike planned for Friday. Gernal Scott, Fox Chicago.
All right, back here at home, the big story is the weather because it is beyond just cold. We are in a deep freeze, and the question is, Emily, when are we going to emerge from it?
Well, we're going to emerge from the deep, deep freeze here over the next couple of days, but we're still looking at temperatures staying below the freezing mark through the remainder of this week. In fact, I don't have any single day in my 7-day forecast bringing temperatures above 32 degrees. So we're going to continue to see that ice developing on southern Lake Michigan. I noticed a lot more of that out there that you can see from our cameras just over the last 24 hours because of how cold it's been. Now, our high temperatures today technically going in the books in the upper teens to low 20s. Because the numbers that you're seeing here on the map, this is where we were at midnight, and then temperatures just fell throughout the remainder of the day. In fact, daytime high temperatures were only in the single digits to near 10 degrees for a lot of us, and right now that's still around where we're at. So it's 5 degrees currently at O'Hare, same thing at the Chicago lakefront. 7 in Gary, it's 2 degrees currently in Waukegan, only 1 in Woodstock, 5 in Aurora, 4 in Rensselaer, same thing for Merrillville, as well as Valparaiso. But once you tack on 5 to 15 mile per hour winds out of the west, this is what it's feeling like. So we still have wind chill temperatures that are around 5 to 15 degrees below zero out there this evening. So we're not quite cold enough for any cold weather advisory headlines. Typically for those to be issued, you need to have wind chill temperatures as cold as about 20 to 25 below. So we're not going to make it there tonight, but regardless, it's brutally cold out there and it's going to stay that way throughout the overnight with temperatures dipping down a few more degrees. I think a lot of us are going to find our lows hovering very close to zero, if not just a degree or two either way. So Futurecast taking us throughout the remainder of tonight. If you haven't caught wind of it already, there's been a couple locations that have been seeing the northern lights. So if you have the opportunity, step outdoors, try to get a glance of that. But of course, you're going to have to brave the cold. It's very, very chilly out there. We have clear skies tonight, which means a nice sunny start to your day tomorrow on Tuesday. Temperatures tomorrow actually warming up just fine. We're going to be in the lower 20s for your highs, significantly warmer than where we were today. And then during the evening into the overnight, we do have a system that's going to be passing by, bringing us the chance of snow. But I do think it's going to be very light. So we're looking at an inch or less of accumulation Tuesday night into Wednesday, especially for locations near and north of I-80. And then scattered snow showers are going to remain possible through the day on Wednesday. And then after that, Arctic air is building back in for Thursday, Friday, and then definitely into this upcoming weekend. For tonight, we're dropping down to about 1 degree, but wind chill temperatures are still going to be as cold as about 5 to 15 degrees below zero. Your 7-day forecast, we are going to be right around 22 degrees tomorrow, 29 on Wednesday with a chance of snow showers. But jumping ahead of this weekend, do you see those overnight lows? We are looking at low temperatures, about 5 to 10 degrees below zero. Wind chill is going to be significantly colder than that, and wind chill temperatures will not rise above zero the entire upcoming weekend. Let's get a check of your weather pick of the day. I loved this one. This was actually taken over in Michigan. Of course, Michigan's been getting hit with a lot of lake effect snow. This was taken by Larry in White Cloud. Lots of lake effect showing up there for his little Jeep run.
Well done, Larry.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Well, the Bears' magical season may have come to an end, but better days appear to be ahead. Hear from the players next in sports.
Hey everybody, Parachutes here coming up tonight at 10 on the Chicago Report. Why is President Trump so obsessed with Greenland, and will he threaten military action? Plus, will the city of Chicago buy back its parking meters? And the mysterious case of the death of Chicago police officer Crystal Rivera. New evidence emerging. All that and more tonight on the Chicago Report.
Fox Tuesday.
The storm is coming.
All right, the Bears season came to a dramatic end last night in the divisional round. Yes, it was painful, but the players, even the head coach, they expressed a lot of optimism and confidence for the future. Cassie Carlson has the latest from Hallis Hall.
A lot of reflecting going on during locker cleanout, and despite being just a day removed from the Bears' overtime loss to the Rams, many of the players said the foundation has been set in Chicago, and they believe that will carry over for years to come, and that's thanks to Ben Johnson.
He's been the catalyst for us, to be able to lead us, to be able to stand strong in tough moments and good moments, to be able to show emotion, be able to be who he is and be consistent with that and do, you know, what he said he was going to do. He's been everything that Chicago's needed as a coach.
We accomplished a lot. You know, we have ignited a belief from this city into this team, that this city believes in this team. I've been saying that Chicago deserves a winner, and just hoping that we gave this city something to be proud about.
Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard are both free agents, and while they both said they would like to be in Chicago, they said they haven't had any discussions with the Bears about their future yet.
I feel like I show them every game, you know, every single practice. Even, you know, years prior, you know, I feel like I showed what I could do when I was healthy. And, you know, this last season, I mean, the last game, that's my last one. So, you know, I went out with a bang.
I definitely think there's mutual interest for me to be back, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I truly don't have any real control over it. You know, I think with, you know, the success that we all had this season as a team, you know, I think a lot of guys on this team is going to be coveted around this league, honestly.
Roma Dunze will take time to rest his foot injury that kept him out for 5 games this season, while also looking at how he can improve after calling what he had a disappointing season.
It really hurts just not coming through in some of those moments throughout the whole season. You know, it's not just last night. It's, you know, several different plays, and not to say I didn't, you know, help this team. I'm not gonna sit here and say, you know, I drug us down. I'm the reason. You know, it's not the attitude that I have, but when I'm not making the plays that I feel like I can make and being the player that I feel like I am in this league is disappointing.
DJ Moore was not available after the game in the locker room nor at locker cleanout to discuss his point of view on Caleb Williams' final interception in overtime. Williams said he had not talked to Moore but called it a miscommunication. Meantime, Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles expected to talk later this week. At Hallis Hall, Cassie Carlson, Fox Chicago Sports.
We've got much more with Danny Parkins on Chicago Sports Tonight. That's right after us at 9:30. Lou's going to be joined by Cassie. They're going to recap last night's heartbreaking loss. They're going to look ahead to the offseason, all right here in your home of the Bears. Keep it right here. Emily has a final check of the forecast straight ahead. Okay, so remember a couple of days where it was like 40 and then 50? What happened to that?
Feels like a distant memory, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
So is this the polar vortex we're dealing with?
It is. So we actually have Arctic air that we're dealing with right now. That's why it's so cold out there. We're going to get a brief little break here the next couple of days. Winds are going to switch to be out of the south tomorrow. Same thing on Wednesday, which is why we have temperatures that are going to be warming up. But unfortunately, that warm up is still going to bring us cooler than average temperatures. So we're in the lower 20s tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. And then we have a chance of snow Tuesday evening into Wednesday. It looks like an inch or less of accumulation, so not a major deal for us Tuesday into Wednesday. Then on Thursday, falling temperatures expected. Friday, that high of 6 degrees. I think that's going to be in the morning. And then there are many, many models, Scott, that are actually dropping temps below 0 during the day on Friday. And then over the weekend, feels like your wind chill temperatures, I don't think they're even going to make it above 0 the entire weekend.
All right. Good time to stay home. Stay warm.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thanks for watching at 9. Remember, you can catch us anytime on your smart TV. It's Fox Local. We're on all the streaming platforms. Always start your day with Good Day Chicago. Straight ahead, it's the aforementioned Chicago Sports Tonight.
Good night.
I've never backed down.